For those of you who are watching this video because you've found one of my my leaflets that I sent out, this is that's saying that John F.K. Jr. is alive, and this is him here as Vincent Fusca, and he is QAnon. So I can't tell you much more about that right now, but I will leave links. But I just want to tell you why that's so important, because there are going to be great revelations, I believe, in the month of October. And the reason that I believe that is that the Lord has been talking to me for quite a long time through my dreams, ever since I got born again, gave my heart to Jesus. He opened me up to the prophetic world. Now, I'm very suspicious of people who followed their dreams before they became Christians and then carried on in the same vein. I don't believe that you would do that. In my case, I used to hanker after the occult and try to learn things like tarot cards and palmistry and what have you, but I was never any good. And it wasn't until I actually gave my heart to the Lord and repented of all that stuff, and repented and burnt it all, that the Lord just opened me up to the prophetic, and I started having visions of people while that, in broad daylight, while they were sitting beside me in church, and seeing their future. And it disturbed me so much, because I was such a baby Christian, that I went to my minister, who was Chris Moffat. He will confirm this, and I was so worried I needed deliverance, and but all he could say was starve it out. Well, unfortunately, with dreams, it's pretty hard to starve out, because it just means the only way you can do it is not sleep. So there is some of my dream diaries that I've kept ever since then, and but so you can see why I don't tell you them all. I only tell the important ones. And this morning I had one, and it was James Taylor singing a new song, and it was in October. Jesus came back. Nothing happened in August. We slept through September, but in October Jesus came back. And that was really significant for me, because last year I did several videos that you can check, you can find on my YouTube, and in which I heard the song Wake Me Up When September Ends, and that particular dream was very much a rapture, what I believed was a rapture dream, but it was about my lover, my old love, coming back, and I was waiting for him to come through the door. And he had just built a new factory, a farm supply factory, and it was all blue and green, in the ceiling, and there was a big screen in the background with views of the world showing on the screen, and my daughter was under my armpit like a hen, and the floor was really springy underneath, and I had an apron on, which symbolizes a servant. So and my old love symbolizes Jesus returning, God returning. And so but what was most significant about it was the song Wake Me Up When September Ends, which was playing in the background. And the only way I ever heard this song was on Renee Moses' Rapture videos. That's why I thought it was a Rapture video, and was very disappointed after 23rd of September, when I woke up and I was still here. Anyway, so this morning's stream, confirmed that Wake Me Up with September End, because James Taylor singing a new song in October, Jesus came back. Nothing happened in August. We slept through September, but in October, Jesus came back. Hallelujah. And my last year's September End, somebody told me that it reminded her of Psalm 85, when it says, and this was in the dream, the walls slotted together. They were green ones and blue ones, and they just all sort of slotted together like a Lego game, I guess. And here it says, surely his salvation is nigh them that fear him, that glory may dwell in our land. Mercy and truth are met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. Truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. Amen. And so I don't know which way it's going to go next month. You know, with these revelations with JFKjnr, I know that something huge is happening. And when I look at all the liars being exposed in America, and the war, the war against Jezebel that's happening, you know, and I also believe that Nibiru, Planet X, is Jesus somehow. And so, it doesn't matter to me if he comes in the way that he came the first time. You know, I actually believe that he's coming now. You know, I have filmed these signs, you know, and you can look up my videos of these miraculous signs. 7 years of signs you have all ignored is one that you can look up. But I have many others, and I just hope I can... But I want to show you, I'll show you a few of my proofs, you know, for you to realize why I believe in my dreams, and why, you know, I can expect that you might give them a little bit of credence as well. You know, unlike those who I criticize, who just have these vague dreams, and everything, you know, they interpret everything as a rapture, and, you know, the dreams really mean nothing. And Ezekiel speaks against these people in Ezekiel 13, and also you know, I've been given other words in like Jeremiah 32. Behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, saith the Lord, and do tell them, and cause my people to err by their lies and by their lightness. Yet I sent them not, nor commanded them. Therefore they shall not profit this people at all, saith the Lord. Hallelujah. So I'm very, very mindful of that, because also in chapter 13, it says here, this is Ezekiel 13, it talks about, you know, and you really couldn't describe what is happening now more if you tried. And it says, because with lies ye have made the heart of the righteous sad, whom I have not made sad, and strengthened the hands of the wicked, that he should not return from his wicked way, by promising him life. Therefore ye shall see no more vanity, nor divine divinations, for I will deliver my people out of your hand, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. And that's what I consider these people who preach the once saved, always saved lie. And so I won't go on any more about that. I just want to talk to you, try and get through as much as I can about like... Another dream that I had was at the moment, which I really feel that is pointing to the time now, is this. I went to a church, and all the people, they were all very false. I'll cut it short, but at the end of it, I went outside. I told them they were all full of rubbish, and I saw a light through the window. I went and looked outside in the window, went outside, and there was a tiger in the sky, just huge, filling up the sky. And I looked up the definition of tiger. It says the tiger symbolizes cruelty, treachery, and martyrdom. So that could be speaking of the you know, the times to come. You know, the what do we call it? Tribulation. This was especially true of early Christians. Most of them knew at least one Christian who had been thrown to the lions and tigers because of their faith. 2, it symbolizes vanity. The bestiaries state that the best way to capture a tiger is to distract it by putting reflective balls in its way. The hunter grabs the young and sneaks away. If the tiger pursues the hunter throws down a glass ball. The tigress, stopping to inspect the sphere, mistakes her own image for that of her cub and stops pursuit. Upon realizing her mistakes, she again renews pursuit. Again the hunter throws down a ball, again distracting the tiger. Satan does the same thing to believers by putting things that distract them in their paths to divert them from their goal of following Jesus. And this is what I believe these false dreamers do. It also means raw power and primal instincts. So as above, so below. Even, you know, I wondered sort of what that meant, the symbolism. And of course, I've been really interested to see Tiger Woods making such a huge comeback. So, you know, I feel that that is a sign that time is now, and speaking to now. And just recently I've had a couple of very significant dreams, and which point to, I can't say rapture. It's a time. It's also like a Noah's Ark, time of preparation or a place of preparation and safety. And one of those, I saw this long green building. I was waiting for my son-in-law. I was already on a boat, and my son-in-law was in this building, and he was there talking to a professor. And this building had this is the building there, a long building with a at the end there's a two-story building, and I could a two-story tower thing, and I could see a silo, storage silo in there. And so my son-in-law, I think, represents my future. So, but this is the green building as well. And but what was interesting also about that one, so I felt that was talking about this place of protection, and was then afterwards I was actually pointing out that building to somebody else, saying, "Oh, didn't you see it? That was the one I was talking about." And then the sky became dark, and as I looked into the distance, then I saw the flash of a meteor falling. I called out and ran and yelled out to Wade to warn them of all the meteors that were now falling. The sky was full of them, and it's very significant because my son-in-law, as a young child, used to have these incredible reoccurring nightmares, but I think he actually had them while he was awake. Not too sure about that, but and in them he was like out on the sea, and he is a sailor, but he would all these meteors were coming, just falling from the sky, and he would go, he would just panic. And apparently, he must have been asleep, because I think after he came out of these things, he would be sort of acting like a monkey, so very, very, significant. And what also is significant is that next month the Draconoid meteor showers are going to, be happening. So I believe that was pointing also to the future. So so many, I just can't keep up with them all. But also, just don't let me miss that one, the Draconoid. And also you'll see on one of my other videos and my thumbnail that I captured from Wanganui the sign, the Revelation 12 dragon being cast out of heaven, and that was on the 27th of July, the month before the eclipse that was over America, and that was like 2 months after my death experience on the solstice. So I got some emails today, because Maoris always turn up very strongly in my dreams quite often. And another dream I had at the same time that I had the green building, a Maori woman arrived unexpectedly and wanted to buy my lambs. I had drawn out a semi-square shape to sit them in on the side of the hill, and we looked down from there across my land, which was incredibly green and undulating. You could hardly imagine such amazing green land, but I had very little voice left, so I just croaked out to my sheep with what voice I had left, worried that they might not hear me, but they did, and came running straight away up the hill, up the bank they ran, although some were a little dirty. So that, to me, the U, I wondered what that was. It was like a square but with the top off. So I think, what does that make? It's actually a U, so that was just talking about me. So that's 2 dreams. And then I also had a baby, which I didn't have time to change right now, so I just lay her in the sun. So I feel that's the Lord telling me that time is very short, so enjoy what time you have left. So I want to talk also about, because, I had these emails from someone who thinks Jacinda Ardern is a good sign for New Zealand. Well, I have done many videos of her, and because I know that she is the sign of Jezebel, and I don't even believe that baby's hers, and that she is, just as John Key was so instrumental in that revelation sign. The Kaikoura earthquake is a lot for you to take in. I'm really sorry. The Lord gave me the warning of the Kaikoura earthquake 4 days before it happened. Okay, and what's her name, Rowe, from Kiri, Charlotte Rowe, bless her, she reposted that posting that I put, warning that the Lord told me something huge was going to happen on Monday, and that turned out that would have been the actual sexual act that put Jupiter into Virgo, which then became the Revelation 12 sign. So, and that was John Key selling out Israel at the United Nations by putting forth that they should return to the 1967 borders. So that was the beginning of this like Antichrist thing that has started, and Jacinda Ardern is right up there spreading the message. You know, you may have seen her on television last night. You're taking the baby there, you know, to the United Nations with her husband there, you know, looking after the baby, and standing up this we too. You know, she said that she spoke about the Me Too movement, and she thought she was very clever by thinking up in the taxi, you know, the catchword "we too." It has to become "we too." Now she is just parroting this a new world order agenda, which is emasculating the man and setting out the Jezebel spirit. And this morning, the main Jezebel here, I came across this article or video, and speaking of, I couldn't hardly believe it, just seems quite bizarre, but you can look it up for yourself. Clinton staffers say, "I will be post-Nibiru president, and so will my daughter."
Article to read, very short, 2 or 3 minutes, and I will let you go. The title of the article is "Clinton Tells Staffers, I Will Be a Post-Nibiru President, and so will my daughter." And I will read, and then I will let you go.
Okay.
As soon as I get it back up in front of me to read here. At a private luncheon on Monday, Hillary Clinton told Clinton Foundation board members that she aimed to be the first post-Nibiru president and expressed hope that her daughter Chelsea would ultimately succeed her, said a well-placed source who risks his life to provide the dark machinations of the Clinton cartel. In attendance were Cheryl Mills, who served as a counselor and chief of staff at the U.S. State Department under Hillary Clinton.
Okay, I'll have to just leave you with that, and hopefully I'll be able to leave the link for that. And I will now go to, what shall I do this one here? I'll actually just play it by, okay, so this here is the very old video that I did of me and the dream that I had about Barack Obama being the Antichrist. Okay, so I'll play this.
Okay, I found it. If you watched my video from yesterday, I spoke of a dream of 2 fans. And amazingly, I found that it was in October 2008, and it was only a couple of days after the dream that I had when I first realised that Obama was the Antichrist. And I was at a big campaign. It was on the full moon, 18th of September 2008. And Barack Obama was the next to address the crowds, but instead of carrying on in the inspiring vein of the previous speaker, he took the chance to praise the Prophet Muhammad. In my fury, I said something from the crowd which totally jarred him, and his eyes went as black as pools of night. Then he was in a place where I was staying, and he was able to get at me. The news of what he and his wife got up to at night was known. They had violent orgies well into the early hours. I had no illusions of the violence he would likely show me. I had locked about 4 doors, but knew I was still vulnerable. I think he got in, but did not do anything because he could not afford to make any mistakes or get bad press at the moment. Well, if you consider what he was pretending to be then, the only thing I knew about him in New Zealand was what I had seen in Time magazine, where he's emptying out his pockets with his little charms.
Okay, so that was in 2008. And I made this video on November the 23rd, 2016. Okay, so even then, you know, Obama was only just beginning to show his true colours. There's no way that I knew that, and in New Zealand, why should I care about the president, but there's no way that I could have known that he would prove himself to be not only homosexual, that's indicated by the orgies they got up to, but also a Muslim, which talked about, what I talked about there, the not carrying on in the same inspiring veins as the previous preachers. So everything that, that he was shown in that dream, and that was in 2008, before he became president. So, that's one of my first proofs there. And then I had another one, which was John Key. Now, here it is. Okay, I'll go to this one first. This is Jacinda, a curse. No, I won't. I will go see if I can find... No, I better do this one. This one is Jacinda, a curse or blessing. And this is talking about Wanganui and the letter H and how important it is. People think, it wasn't important. Braun. So, and this is a letter by a man called Ian Braun. So I'll display.
For those who keep fighting the battle long after the war's been lost, but they stand up because, but for them, we would be overrun by tyranny. The H debate. I read Margie Key's interesting letter about inserting the H in the Wanganui, but she did not mention why the H was inserted. When the last Wanganui District Council wanted to insert the H in Wanganui, I looked for some information. What was found is that on May 23rd and May 31st, 1840, the treaty document was signed Chief of Wanganui. In the treaty, there are no words spelt with the H. The word for land is Wenua. Also, talking to the Waiata Paramount Chief, I was told, I think that'd be Waiataha Paramount Chief, I was told that Wanganui is a Waiataha name. Wa is energy, Na is many, Nui is large, and the name Waiataha means beside the waters, who lived close to the seas, lakes or rivers. There is a pa just outside of Wanganui called Waiataha Pa. Also, Wanganui in the South Island is spelt without the H. Margie also mentioned Aotearoa, New Zealand, has never been called Aotearoa. Well, I can attest to this, as I was in Wellington and speaking with a Maori woman who was proud of the fact that she was part of the group that got Kerry Prendergast replaced by the New World, well, they're both all the same, but the Celia Ward Brown. And she gave me her notebook to look after while she was dealing with another person at the exhibition, and through it I then saw the along with her drawings, the code names for Peter Sharples and Tariana Turua and all the rest of them that were responsible for the tyranny that brought the H into Wanganui. And you think it's nothing. Well, names do have power, and to change the name, you change the power. But the whole mandate is to, just like the Arnott's ad I've just talked about, just to boil the water slowly so you don't notice, and little by little they get what they want and you get nothing. So for all those...
Okay, so that there is for your information, and also what another one was... So this is the Amazon arising. So this is talking about Jacinda and the whole...
Just don't even know if they're going to be alive tomorrow. And yet they just...
So I'll give you these words.
Also going and in conjunction with the whole New World Order takedown of the West, which was shown quite plain on TV last night on the news. We had 3 items. First was the Prime Minister standing down, the ex-Prime Minister standing down, I should say. Then we had Hurricane
the
Gita.
floodwaters and the wreckage.
And
Channel 1 News.
Right, for the latest, let's go to One News meteorologist.
and that also I found interesting here. It says, for they have sown the wind. It says, set the, in Hosea 8:1, set the trumpet to thy mouth. He shall come as an eagle against the house of the Lord, because they have transgressed my covenant and trespassed my law. I hope you know the scripture when and we've just had the Eagles winning in America, and where it says, where the body is, there the eagle shall be gathered. So we have, and then we have, for they have sown the wind, and they shall reap the whirlwind. Well, that's what we're doing, sowing clouds and harp, creating our own weather and creating these incredible cyclones. So, yeah, sadly, this is Generation Z. And just as they were the ones responsible for putting Jacinda into power, and so that two good men, Andrew Little, who was a good leader, and which surprised me, and also Bill English, just so that a woman could be Prime Minister, and that's all it is about. And well, Generation Z is going to reap this whirlwind, sadly, because. So I will just, but at the end of this...
Okay, so that's the Amazon arising, cut off their balls, the broken covenant. Okay, what have we got here? So this one here also, this was one that I did after I had a dream on my birthday, always a significant time, and this is where I saw John Key. I'll just play the video. And this is called God's Warning, Prophecy Fulfilled. John Key promotes New World Order currency, Bitcoin. And this, the Lord, this is like 2 weeks after I had this dream, it all happened. But it doesn't want to play on me. Come on, darling.
This morning I saw a story on my Facebook page about John Key advocating the new Bitcoin, and I recalled the dream that I had of him on my birthday when I woke up and he was wearing leopard's clothes and teaching the world, teaching the children of the world, and I realised that it was speaking about his position, as in the New World Order, the leopard's clothes being the Antichrist clothes. So I posted that, I posted some of the videos that I had showing that it was predicted, so, that the Lord had told me this as a warning to you all. But surprisingly, it's nowhere to be found. So either it's just a case of YouTube, Facebook trying to do our heads in, which is what we need to expect to happen now with the artificial intelligence, or it maybe I actually did see something in the future that it's going to happen. So either way, I've decided to do this video for you today, and I'm really hoping that it's going to be my last one, because I feel that I've said everything I need to say, that anybody who doesn't have an idea of what is happening really is ignorant by choice. So I want to just mainly make this video so I can put some links in it and talk about those who have predicted it, and that we would be taken over, that the whole artificial intelligence is being taken over, that Bitcoin also is going to be the vehicle of the New World Order monetary system, and I absolutely do believe that John Key will be one of the top players in his role as a smiling assassin, which he was dubbed by his co-workers at the stock exchange. So so I saw it at first, was made known to me through a secular type of prophet, a French guy called Jacques Nietzscheman. and I saw the incredible cover-up, the disinformation that was then thrown against him and the predictions he made back in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, and whole movies were actually made by a couple of guys called Luke and Mac. And
so anyway, that's that's Jacques Nietzscheman. So that was a prophecy back in the 60s, and that prophesied a black president, and also that aliens would take over humanity through the internet by 2012, which I believe has happened. And that's why my message has always been, get off the computer. And I wish I could take my own, but that is the way it goes. And so now here's another one here that I've done called Solstice Birth, Coronation of Obama and Jacinda, Antichrist and False Bride. I probably won't be able to show much of this one. I just want to, these are titles you can look up just to so you can see that I'm not just sort of jumping on the end of some bandwagon here, that I've been prattling on for quite some time.
Them, and then congratulated one of their husbands, and I was telling them about the moons that I was trying to film, and my camera was in the letterbox. I had to go back out and get it. I came back again, and I went up the stairs, and I was regretting the fact that I hadn't taken the photos of the moon.
Okay, so that's a recent one that I've done of rapture, but they also coincide with the very first dreams that I had, which were of the two moons, and also which we're talking also about a pole shift. Now you will find on other videos of mine the sign of the Son of Man, which I have filmed, and it is called Sirius, and that also talks about the Hopi prophecy. The Hopi prophecy of the blue JFKjnr, which is coming back, and at that time they say the great white brother, who of course is Jesus, is coming back to earth. And now so that's also what I'm talking about with the fact that Jesus is Nibiru, this planet, and that's through judgment that God comes back, and it's because this Nibiru is coming into our solar system that we are going through all this weather problem, because there's two brothers in this prophecy, and one goes to the North Pole and one to the South Pole, and they're going to flip, and that was one of the first dreams that I had, and that's, I think, 2001, is of the polar shift. So I've recently just heard, though, because I've sort of wondered why in the world would New Zealand be such a popular place for all these rich Americans and film stars to come, and I mean, even the Rothschilds built a bug out opposite my family's place in Kennedy Bay over 20 years ago. So they've been expecting it for a long time. But I thought, why, New Zealand? Because I know that the river seas are rising, and that so much of our place is coastland. But because we're connected to Antarctica, we are very crucial. But I read somewhere recently that they're actually expecting New Zealand to rise, just as we were once part of Antarctica, as was Australia, and one huge continent. They are obviously expecting that to happen again with this pole shift, something like that. That's all I can say. So you can look up in my video, 7 Years of Signs. I've got quite a few videos of the miracles I've seen. You will see this the star. The star is. I wonder if I can just quickly get it. What's it called? I've named it so many different things. And it's of this incredible pulsating blue star, and it's not a star. You can see it's actually hexagonal, and it's the star that the Masons worship. They pretend it's the sun, but it's the star that the Masons worship in their temples, and it's I've filmed it on several occasions. One of the other times I've done it, and there's a video up here too. can't remember what that one's called, but that was on the night that Wanganui I don't know how to put it, that our river in Wanganui was given a personhood. So our Wanganui River is actually now considered a human being, a person, and it on the night that was going to be instituted in Parliament. My husband and I were sitting on our veranda, and we actually saw in the cloud the taniwha, go past on and fly down to Wellington for its what do you call it? For its instalment in Parliament. So, and at that same night, we also filmed the moon, and beside it, not far, we saw Sirius again the second time. So I think that's probably quite enough. It's been quite a long one. Hope you look up my videos. I hope this has made some sense to you and that I haven't forgotten anything. But yeah, something huge is going to happen next month. And, I just want you to know that Jesus is the way, the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through him. And that the only way that you will be saved is by giving your heart to him. Don't worry about religions. These man-made religions are all Illuminati and Masonic inventions. God knows your heart. Come to him truly, and he will come to you. And so I thank you for watching. And really good news about JFK. He's been waiting in the wings, with Trump. Trump's been supporting him all these years, and he's been waiting in the wings to avenge his father, and because his father knew everything. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and God bless you all in Jesus' name.